Hi everyone, it's Kristen Williams with the Williams team, Keller Williams in Austin, Texas. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about protesting your property taxes because that deadline is looming. It's coming up in the middle of May, and I want to make sure that everyone who is a past client of ours is aware of what to look for and pay attention to if you would like to protest your property taxes. First of all, every year in the springtime, right in the middle of April timeframe, most homeowners, or all homeowners, if you're a homeowner, receive a notice of assessed value. And what that is when the county goes and assesses what do they believe the property value is worth. And then they assess that against the tax rate. The tax rate is what gets voted on in the November elections. So that tax rate doesn't get set till the end of the year, and then the county assesses the value against the tax rate, and then they give you what your assessed value is, and that's how you determine what your tax bill is going to be at the end of the year when you have to pay taxes. But every year the county reassesses the appraised value, what they believe the property is worth. In some cases, it's priced below, the appraised value is below what the actual market value is. In a lot of cases, that happens to be the case. It used to be pretty standard, and now the county has over the last several years, when the market was increasing, they increased the value substantially to be more in alignment with what a home could actually sell for if it were to be sold. So now those values are somewhat in alignment, but I went back and checked every single client that bought a house with us last year and checked it against the sales price. And then a couple of instances, and I'll give you one example. A client purchased a property for $720,000. Their assessed value for the property from the county is at $747,000. So that's about a $27,000 difference, which isn't substantial, but it's enough that I think my clients should just go ahead and protest because they paid $720,000, and the assessed value is supposed to be what the market value of the home was at the end of the year last year. I have another client whose value was about $3,000 higher than the purchase price of the property, which I know might sound like small potatoes and not really worth a protest, but you can file your protest online, and it's pretty simple to do. You can also hire companies. There are so many companies that you've probably heard of, and probably a lot of mailers are coming to you to help you protest too. And we actually have Home Tax Shield set up to host a webinar for us, so stay tuned and look for the invite and the details on that, and they're going to host a webinar for us to help you protest your taxes if you would like assistance and guidance and help, and you pay them to do it for you. They take a percentage of the savings that you have. If there are no savings, there is no charge to you. I think there is a flat fee, like a $35 flat fee, but there's no charge. But if they do save you, for instance, they save you $400 a year, then they're going to take a percentage of that savings. So that said, it's just something I want everybody to pay attention to. The other thing is, if you did purchase a home last year, it's important, and you live in it as your primary residence, please make sure you file your homestead exemption. I checked all of my clients from last year as well, and two specific ones said, "Oh, we already filed our protest, but I did not notice a homestead on their tax profile, and so I didn't see that." And typically, if you have homestead on the property, it will have like an HS and it will say homestead. So I reached out to those clients to say, "Hey, don't forget to do that." And they're like, "Well, we did it," and I noticed that it wasn't on. So they're going to call the appraisal district just to make sure that whatever paperwork they filed gets filed properly, so they get their exemption for the homestead as well. So those are two very important things that are always due in the springtime. So I'm making it a special point to do a video and inform everybody on kind of what comes next. So that said, if you have any questions about protesting your property tax, please come to us. We're going to host a seminar. We'll make sure you get a special invite for that. I'm happy to answer any questions. We've protested personally on our property for years and years. Almost every year we do it. And so I have a lot of experience and, some tips and of the trade and whatnot. So anyhow, you'll have a great weekend ahead, and we'll see you next Friday.